Oh, I crashed really hard. I crashed really hard.
At 39, the woman behind Itchy Boots' millions of views has finally broken her silence. For years, millions of followers believed she set off simply because of her passion for adventure and her desire for freedom. The truth behind her decision to walk away from everything was a tragedy she kept hidden in the shadows, a devastating shock that shattered her seemingly perfect life overnight. What really happened in 2018, and what was the highest price she paid behind the image of ultimate freedom? The answer may surprise you. Before becoming known as Itchy Boots, Noraly Schoenmaker had a stable life in the Netherlands. She worked as a geologist for an international dredging company, regularly taking part in projects across multiple countries. The job offered a strong income, clear career opportunities, and a future that many people would have considered ideal. Alongside her career, Noraly lived with her longtime boyfriend, and the two were preparing to buy a house. At 31, everything seemed to be falling into place. After years together, she believed she was entering a new chapter with a stable career, a home of her own and family life ahead. Nothing suggested that within a very short time, the foundation she had built would collapse completely. The turning point came when Noraly accidentally discovered her boyfriend's message history on his computer. The conversation, spanning about a year and a half, revealed a long-term affair. The messages contained intimate exchanges, along with one short question: "Does N know?" That was the moment she realized she had been completely unaware of what was happening. The discovery quickly brought their long-term relationship to an end. In later interviews, especially in her book, Keerpunt Noraly explained that the shock came completely out of nowhere. She not only lost the partner she trusted, but also found herself facing a series of major decisions involving her career finances and living situation. The fact that they were preparing to buy a house made the breakup even more complicated. Mortgage-related issues forced the property to be sold. Her plans for building a stable life in the Netherlands came to an abrupt end. Within a short time, every plan she had spent months preparing no longer had any meaning. At the same time, Noraly faced a major career decision. Her employer wanted her to continue working in the Netherlands, but after one life-changing event after another, she no longer wanted to return to her old life. Instead of continuing a profession that offered security and stability, she chose to resign and close the most significant chapter of her career as a geologist. The next decision came with remarkable speed. In less than 4 weeks, Noraly sold almost all of her personal belongings. Many possessions she had owned for years found new owners, including the Ducati motorcycle she had loved. Her only goal was to prepare for an entirely new journey. Her first destination was not a country she had chosen after years of planning. Noraly bought a one-way ticket to India and left the Netherlands without knowing when she would return. At the time, many people believed she simply wanted to pursue her passion for travel or fulfill a dream of exploring the world by motorcycle. For years, Noraly herself described the journey only as a decision to seek freedom and new experiences. She rarely spoke in detail about the events that had taken place before she left. That led many people to believe her journey was simply driven by a love of adventure and a desire to change her life. It was not until the publication of Keerpunt in Dutch, followed by the English edition Free Ride, that Noraly fully revealed what had happened before she left her homeland. The book confirmed that the journey did not begin as a long-planned travel adventure. It began with a devastating shock that transformed her entire life within just a few weeks. It was in India, with almost nothing left to her name, that Noraly began the journey that changed not only her life, but also gave birth to the adventure known as Itchy Boots. The first journey. When Noraly Schoenmaker arrived in India, she had no intention of becoming one of the world's best-known motorcycle travel creators. Her original plan was simply to work as a travel blogger, document her experiences, and earn a living through content creation. The idea brought in very little income during the early months. Looking for a way to travel farther, she began learning about motorcycles. After renting a Royal Enfield Himalayan, she decided to buy one for about $2,400 and named it Basanti. It was her first real experience riding off-road and navigating unpaved routes. Buying Basanti completely changed her plans. Rather than returning to the Netherlands after a short trip, Noraly continued riding across Asia. Starting in India, she crossed Myanmar, Thailand, and Malaysia before shipping the motorcycle to the Middle East. From Oman and the United Arab Emirates, she rode through Iran and continued across Central Asia, passing through Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. Her route later took her across Russia, Georgia, Armenia, and Turkey before returning to Europe and eventually the Netherlands. The entire expedition lasted about 9 months, covering 25 countries and nearly 36,000 kilometers, or more than 22,000 miles. The journey brought constant challenges. Basanti suffered mechanical problems on mountain roads in Iran, while Kazakhstan's vast, empty steppes forced Noraly to ride for hours without seeing another person or settlement. In Free Ride, she also described the emotional side of traveling alone. Memories of her former life and the relationship that had fallen apart often resurfaced during long stretches of isolated roads. In November 2018, she launched the YouTube channel Itchy Boots. The first videos were filmed with basic equipment, the editing was simple, and the audience was very small. She had no production team or long-term strategy. Even so, viewers gradually connected with her honest storytelling, solo adventures, and practical approach to overcoming unexpected challenges. When Noraly returned to the Netherlands, her family welcomed her home after months away. For many people, that would have been the end of an unforgettable adventure. For her, it became the beginning of something much bigger. She soon started planning an ambitious ride from Patagonia to Alaska. That first expedition transformed Itchy Boots from a personal travel project into a global motorcycle adventure channel. What began as a journey to rebuild her life evolved into one of YouTube's most influential motorcycle travel platforms, laying the foundation for the worldwide audience and remarkable adventures that would follow. The Itchy Boots Empire. Just about 5 months after the channel launched, Itchy Boots had attracted more than 50,000 subscribers. That number continued to grow rapidly thanks to a consistent upload schedule and content centered on real-life experiences. By 2022, the channel officially surpassed 1 million subscribers, marking a major milestone in the world of motorcycle travel. By the middle of this year, Itchy Boots had grown to more than 3.4 million subscribers and over 500 million views. Those numbers have established Noraly as one of the most influential motorcycle and travel content creators on YouTube. Her audience now spans countries around the world instead of being limited to motorcycle enthusiasts. The channel's success has been closely tied to journeys of increasing scale. Following her first expedition across Asia and Europe, Noraly went on to complete a ride from Patagonia at the southern tip of South America to Alaska. It became one of her most remarkable projects, covering roughly 43,000 kilometers across a wide variety of climates and landscapes. The adventures that followed continued to expand the reach of Itchy Boots. She explored the Nordic countries before moving on to Africa, beginning in Morocco, traveling down the western side of the continent, then crossing toward the east. Each journey was released as a long-running series of episodes. By the middle of 2025, Noraly estimated that she had ridden more than 190,000 kilometers across over 80 countries. Most of those journeys were completed entirely on her own. She planned every route, handled border crossings, repaired basic mechanical issues, and managed every aspect of content production throughout each expedition. One of the defining features of Itchy Boots is its filming style. Noraly does not travel with a large production crew. Most of the footage is captured using helmet-mounted GoPro's cameras attached to the motorcycle and drones. At the end of each riding day, she backs up her footage, edits the videos, and prepares the content for upcoming episodes herself. Rather than focusing on speed or technical riding demonstrations, Noraly's videos document road conditions, local cultures, and encounters with the people she meets along the way. She has repeatedly said that one of her goals is to show the kindness she has received throughout her travels alongside the challenges of riding alone. The motorcycles that have accompanied Noraly have also become familiar to her audience. Her first Royal Enfield Himalayan was named Basanti. It was followed by a Honda CRF 300L Rally called Alaska, along with several other motorcycles such as Savannah and Ronin. Each one became closely associated with a different journey and a different continent. As her career continued to grow, Noraly's lifestyle changed completely. She no longer maintained a permanent home for most of the year. Everything she needed traveled with her on the motorcycle, while her primary income came from YouTube, her books, and other content-related activities. Minimalist living became a long-term choice, rather than a temporary solution. The journey was unfolding smoothly until an unexpected accident in Tanzania forced Noraly to stop in a way no one could have predicted. The life-changing crash in May 2024 while riding across Africa. Noraly Schoenmaker reached the area near Mbeya, Tanzania. Everything had been going according to plan, and the dirt road ahead appeared to be in good condition. Nothing suggested that one unexpected moment would bring her journey to an abrupt stop. The accident happened within seconds. The front wheel of her Honda CRF 300L Rally Alaska slipped into a small rut, causing the motorcycle to lose balance and crash. It was not a high-speed accident or a collision with another vehicle, though the impact was severe enough to leave Noraly seriously injured. She immediately felt intense pain in her shoulder and could barely move her arm. Her collarbone had been broken, and pain in her leg made her fear another fracture. With the heavy motorcycle lying on the ground, she was unable to lift Alaska and continue riding. The crash occurred on a remote stretch of road with no immediate help available. Noraly activated her Garmin InReach satellite communicator to send an emergency signal, a device she always carried for situations like this during long-distance expeditions. Not long afterward, 3 Tanzanian doctors happened to pass the accident scene. They stopped to provide first aid, helped Noraly into their vehicle, and drove nearly 5 hours to a hospital capable of treating her injuries. She later thanked them repeatedly in her update videos for their life-saving assistance. Hospital examinations confirmed a broken collarbone. Her leg had not been fractured, as she initially feared, though it suffered bruising and soft tissue injuries. Even so, the shoulder injury made it impossible for her to continue riding, forcing her African expedition to end far earlier than planned. Noraly decided to return to the Netherlands for surgery, believing it offered the best chance for a full recovery. Alaska was removed from the journey, bringing an unfinished expedition to a close. The operation on her collarbone was successful, though an unexpected complication followed. During treatment, her lung was accidentally punctured, requiring additional hospitalization, and extending her recovery well beyond the original expectation. All travel plans had to be suspended. The accident also brought Itchy Boots Season 7 to an early conclusion. Instead of releasing new episodes from Africa, Noraly spent months resting, completing physical rehabilitation, and rebuilding her strength. It became one of the longest breaks she had taken since beginning her life of continuous travel. Recovery also gave her time to complete her first book. After years of revealing only fragments of her story, through videos she finally wrote about the personal events that changed her life and the journeys that followed. Looking back, Noraly said the accident in Tanzania reminded her that experience alone cannot eliminate every risk on the road. She also said the kindness of complete strangers helped her survive one of the most difficult moments of her life. Those experiences would soon become part of the story she had kept private for years, finally revealing the truth that so many viewers had long wondered about. The final admission. After recovering, Noraly Schoenmaker not only returned to the road, but also decided to tell the full story that changed her life. That decision became clear in Keerpunt, published in Dutch. It marked the first time she publicly revealed the complete chain of events that led her to leave her old life behind. In 2025, the book was released in English under the title Free Ride. The book quickly attracted international readers and earned a place on the New York Times bestseller list. Unlike her familiar travel videos, the book focuses on the personal events that took place before Itchy Boots came into existence. In Free Ride, Noraly described in detail for the first time how she discovered her boyfriend's affair, the breakup, the sale of the house, leaving her job, and her decision to leave the Netherlands. Before that, she usually said she simply wanted to change her life or seek new experiences. The book filled in the missing part of the story that many followers had never known. These revelations are widely seen as her clearest admission of what truly led her to begin traveling alone. Buying a ticket to India was not simply driven by a love of adventure. It was a decision made after every plan involving her career, relationship, and personal life collapsed at the same time. At 39, Noraly continues to live a life centered on long-distance motorcycle travel. Instead of choosing a modern motorcycle, she began Season 8 aboard a 1987 Yamaha XT600 Tenere. The motorcycle was restored, mechanically upgraded, and named Frankie. Choosing a motorcycle that is nearly 4 decades old has created more challenges than her previous journeys. Frankie has a simple design and is easier to repair, though it also requires more maintenance. The decision reflects Noraly's long-standing preference for a motorcycle she can repair herself while traveling through remote regions. By the end of July, Season 8 had taken her across the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. It is considered one of the toughest sections of the entire expedition. Her latest videos document sandstorms, rivers that pushed the motorcycle off course, and towering sand dunes that the aging machine struggled to cross. While traveling through Mongolia, Noraly also spent time living with local nomadic families. The episodes continue to follow her familiar style, focusing on road conditions, the daily lives of local people, and the real situations she encounters along the way. Those elements remain defining characteristics of Itchy Boots after many years of growth. The next destination in her plan is Japan, a country Noraly has mentioned many times as a long-term goal. The current journey is considered the final step before she finds a way to bring Frankie to the island nation, completing a plan she has been preparing for a long time. Alongside her travels, Noraly has also completed the manuscript for her second book. The book is titled Doorgaan in Dutch and Beyond Fear in English, with both editions scheduled for release in May 2027. The new book continues exploring her experiences following the success of Free Ride and her more recent journeys. Even though she spends most of her time on the road, Noraly still returns to the Netherlands from time to time to rest, spend time with her family, and maintain her physical fitness. She has shared that endurance is one of the most important factors in completing long-distance rides. Activities such as high rocks have also become part of her preparation before each new expedition. At the present time, Noraly still has no permanent home and continues living with everything she needs packed onto her motorcycle. The story of Itchy Boots shows that this remarkable journey did not begin with a perfect plan. It began with the greatest turning point of her life. The admission she shared through Free Ride has given viewers a much deeper understanding of the path Noraly Schoenmaker chose and continues to follow. That journey is far from over, and many more roads, challenges, and untold stories still lie ahead. If you enjoy stories about inspiring people and want to stay updated with our latest videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below.